welcome. So I'm going to give you guys a warning right from the get-go. There's going to be some disturbing stuff I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. And it's entirely up to you how much credibility you give this stuff. Now, I know a lot of people, and I'm included in this. I'm absolutely included in this. I was included in this. When you talk about aliens and little green men and greys, there's no real evidence, right? There's no real evidence for this. However, what we all have to agree is something's happening about this. Now, whether you guys want to believe that there are little green men and aliens running around in little tin cans that are operating on unknown physics or whatever, or whether you guys want to believe that this is some sort of just, nonsense from conspiracy theories. What really perked me up on this is over the last couple of years, talking about, unidentified flying objects, what UAPs, anomalous phenomena or whatever it's called. This has ramped up hugely. And it's no longer a fringe topic. It's no longer a fringe subject. This is now mainstream. I think it was Sky News in the United Kingdom. They were going around the streets doing this seriously. They were talking about, they were asking people, actually. They were asking people on the streets, I can't remember where it was, but they was going up to people and they were saying, hey, we're Sky News, we're doing a poll. Do you believe aliens are real? But it wasn't it wasn't one of those jokey things. This is now a serious topic. Hang on, guys, give me a second. This was a serious topic. So this has gone from conspiracy theorists to fringe topics to mainstream. That's the reality. That has happened. Okay. Whether you want to agree, think that aliens are real, that's absolutely fine. Put it in the chat. This is now mainstream. And the amount of information coming out now is unbelievable. And I will give you guys a warning. There's some dark information I'm going to share with you. The US government have got websites now, aliens.gov, that are literally under the same people who run the White House website are now running a website called Alien or aliens.gov. So this is not like whatever you believe, that is fact. Okay. Now, I've got a few videos to share with you guys. The first one, it's just getting weirder. So a while ago on the live stream, I said to you guys, I said, listen, in the United States, there are a number of researchers, aerospace professionals, who I think it was 6 back then, who have either died or gone missing. Turns out that number, as of I think today, increases to 9. So that's going to be the first video I'm going to share with you guys, okay? Because these numbers are increasing. So let me share this video with you first.
9th scientist with ties to NASA.
Sorry. So, so this was, okay, sorry. So this was Tuesday.
A 9th scientist with ties to NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab has been added to the growing list of researchers across the country who have died under mysterious circumstances or disappeared.
Okay, just that sentence on its own should kind of start people's alarm bells ringing, right? This should be ringing people's alarm bells. Now, there's so many different things that could be happening right now. This could be all man-made. This could be all fake. I mean, I don't know these scientists. I'm just reporting. I'm just reporting on what we're being told and trying to stitch these things together with keeping those options open, right? I always approach things with an open mind, but I have a strict, quite a robust bullshit filter, quite a robust bullshit filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and stick with what we are being told, and then at the end of the live stream, I will speculate on the possible outcomes and the possible options where we're leading to. And if you've been following me for a while, guys, they've not changed. They're still the same. But I just see the added value of weight now on what I've been saying before. So as it says there, guys, okay, 9 scientists now missing. Now, these are high-level scientists.
Fox News senior national correspondent Kevin Cork has the details. Hey, Kevin.
Afternoon to you, Will. Mike Hicks was a research scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Hang on, guys. Let me just Google this guy. Mike Hicks, JPL. What? So I've got a Mike Hicks that died in 2023. There's 2 Mike Hickses who work at JPL. Right, I'll come back to that.
JPL, and apparently he died back in July of 2023 at the age of 59. But the cause of death was never made public, and no record of an autopsy being performed on him has ever been found. Now, on its face, that might not sound like such a big deal, but his is, as you point out, the 9th case of a person with ties to America's space and nuclear secrets who has died or mysteriously vanished in recent years, including retired Air Force General Bill McCaslin, who was reported missing by his wife more than a month ago.
Is this ringing alarm bells to anyone? Is this ringing alarm bells? If there was an alien, right, guys, let's just keep an open mind, right? Let's just keep an open mind, and let's just try and play this out, right? You guys have watched that movie. It's not a movie, the Netflix thing, 3-Body Problem, I think it is. The premise of 3-Body Problem is they're heading towards Earth, but they're a long way away, and they know that by the time the people on Earth detect them, they will have developed technology sufficient enough to destroy them when they get here. So, before I get the rest of this video, just let me give you a quick, here in the United Kingdom, we are being overwhelmed with mass migration. Masses and masses. We're being destroyed from within, right? Now, if there was, and I'm not saying there is, I'm just asking a question. I'm just trying to keep an open mind because the universe is it's a big and unexplained, unexplored place. Let's not pretend that we know, everything about the universe because we clearly don't. Let's just pretend for a minute that there was an alien invasion on the way to Earth. Wouldn't it make sense to start taking out those lead scientists, those people who are the leaders in their field that could potentially build or develop systems to defeat them? Equally, if you knew, if the government knew there was an alien invasion on its way and you wanted these scientists to get their families and work somewhere, then wouldn't you start doing this? Because you need these people working 24/7.
He'd been studying unidentified anomalous phenomena and potential non-human intelligence. Now, in common speak, that simply means aliens. And to be sure, the trend of unexplained deaths and disappearances is setting off alarm bells, both among national security experts and among lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
I think there's a message being sent in all this. I think we better be really careful. And it's more than 8. You take any other profession in the world, take car salesmen. How many of those have disappeared or died mysteriously in this in this country? And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of those. This is a very, very small group of people, and we better start paying attention to what's going on.
The great Tim Burchett speaking there. Another scientist missing, Monica Reza, JPL's Director of Materials Processing. She vanished without a trace last June, just months after beginning her tenure at the NASA lab.
Okay, so she's the head of materials processing. Now, a lot of the stuff, if you want to go down this route, if you want to go down this road of, there are recovered craft that are trying to be reverse engineered. One of the big problems is material sciences. We don't, or we didn't have the ability to produce these materials back in the 1940s or whenever, when allegedly these craft were recovered. As we move forward now, you would expect that those things will have been researched and researched and researched. And a lot of these researchers, they won't even know what they're researching. They'll just say, hey, Sean, here's a piece of metal, find out what you can about it. I don't know what that piece of metal is, so I do my tests, I do my analysis. I say, yeah, I don't know where it's from. Where did you get it from? Don't know. Well, this is what I found. Right, okay. And then they give that information to someone else. It's called compartmentalization. So you don't actually know what you're working on.
And perhaps most vexing of all, because of the nature of the research being conducted and the unusual circumstances surrounding many of these disappearances and deaths, we have scant new information, Will, about leads, though the investigation, we are told, at this very hour does continue. Will.
Either independently or connected, Congressman Burchett also has told TMZ that he has had conversations with high-level figures in the American government that we have, in fact, had contact with extraterrestrials.
Okay. So there's a lot of this information coming out now, and it seems that it's just people are not talking about it because the war with Iran, Russia, they've just made a move on the United Kingdom. I'll be talking about that later tonight. Now, the other day I spoke to you guys about the other day I shared with you guys a video. I can't remember who it was, and he was saying, I've had a briefing. There was two guys, and I think it was that Tim Blanchard or whatever his name is. And they were interviewing this guy, and they said, are you telling us that you have been told that there are materials or craft from another planet or not from this world and biologics or words to that effect? And he said yes. And he also said, I've had a briefing recently, and if you knew the briefing I just had, it would keep you up at night and it would unglue America. That's what he said. He said, he was saying this would keep you up. So I'm going to share this video with you guys, and it is pretty dark. It is. You guys have got to take this with a pinch of salt. I don't know what's true. I'm just trying to connect these dots, as best I can. Okay, so this is a guy called, I think his name's called David Greer. And I don't know how I feel about him. I really don't. I don't know how I feel about him. At first, I thought he was just giving BS. I did. I was like, yeah, I don't see him as credible. Then I heard him on another interview, and I thought, yeah, that sounds credible. And then I think he's BSing again. So I don't make your own mind up about this, guys. So what I'm doing with this guy, this guy here, I'm trying to disassociate myself from the person and listen to what he's saying. Now, this is getting airtime. This is out now on the mainstream. So whether you believe him or not, that is totally up to you. Whether you think this guy's credible or not doesn't matter, because this is what I've had to do. I've had to take a step back and take my personal opinions out of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video. I will be stopping it at various points. But let's listen to the information that he's got, and let's understand that whether we believe it or not, this information is now being presented to the public, right? Because it is. That's a fact. And whether you believe it or not, that's, a different story.
The things that I've seen would keep you up at night. You texted me right after the show that night, Dr. Greer. Right. Do you know what he's talking about, specifically? So
for context, what he's talking about there is the last aliens or UFO video I did. I was talking about this. It's basically what I've just said. So listen to what he's talking about now, because this is where it gets wild and pretty dark.
Yeah, I do. So for a number of decades, we have used the retrieved non-human bodies, biologicals they're called, and created creatures that are part human, part not human.
Okay, right. Are we just done? Are we just going to tap out now, guys? Can I tap out?
Created creatures that are part human, part not human, and very advanced biomedical research.
Okay, so what he's saying there is, for years, governments, don't know where, have been creating, like, I don't even know how, like Frankenstein's, right? That's the image I'm getting, and that's pretty dark. Frankenstein's. Now, I read something the other day that medical research can take a they were talking about pandas, right? Yeah, they were talking about pandas. And what they can do is they can take a droplet of panda blood, right? Then they can create embryos from that panda blood. And I was like, what? So if that's the stuff that we're being told, if that's the stuff that we are being told right now is available, then what do we think's happening in like secret facilities that have got doing secret research? Give me a second. Let me just find this. Let me just see if I can find this. Yeah. So Chinese scientists have successfully created giant panda embryos using somatic cell nucleus transfers. I don't really understand the science, but that's, it's the Chinese have done it. Those Chinese.
And I've known about this since the 90s, and these have been used in covert operations, like the CIA document we have that admits they were using this sort of tech as well as the man-made UFOs to stage and hoax alien abductions and all manner of nonsense. The problem is it sounds like a science fiction movie, but it's been part of a larger multi-decade psychological warfare operation, partly run out of a division of the CIA and some out of other special operations and attached to the aerospace industry.
Okay, so when we hear about these things, right, we kind of think they're so far-fetched, it's impossible. We do, don't we? We absolutely do. And I do. Until yesterday. Maybe the day before. I think it was yesterday, actually. Until yesterday when I was watching, I actually read about this. I had to Google it. The American pilot that was downed in Iran, they allegedly found him. I still can't fathom this technology, guys. They allegedly found him by his heartbeat. Yes, his heartbeat. So the US military have in their possession some sort of detector that can detect the electromagnetic, well, I guess the magnetic pulse, because when your heart beats, it's this tiny little bit of electricity that can detect a heartbeat at over 10 miles away. And I was like, what? So you can detect heartbeats? Yes. So that to me is magic. That's literally magic, guys. If somebody was to say to me, yep, like that, if you were to, you would be burned for witchcraft. Imagine saying, oh, I can tell there's a heartbeat over there. What? That's witchcraft. Getting burned. Remember, all magic is, what is it? What did Clark say? A technology sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable. Technology sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable from magic.
Giants. But yes, we know details of that. We know where these weird experiments are going on. And I've handed that off to certain people in the national security structure and to certain members of Congress, as well as the names of whistleblowers who have been involved.
Okay, let me hold on. So there's a breeding program. Matt Gaetz said that. Tim Burchett didn't deny that. you're confirming that. Are there female volunteers that are taking part in this program? Like, how does that work?
No, there
Fair question. Fair question.
are no, the human subjects are ones who have been captured in distressed areas and used for human experimentation. It's similar to
what? I honestly, I can't digest this stuff, guys. They're capturing humans, right, and making them breed with aliens. This is some sort of like, just like, I can't, like, my filter is screaming out BS at this, guys. It really is. My filter's screaming out BS, right? However, I've been wrong before, right? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So I have to detach myself from my bullshit filter, right? This is just what I'm getting. I want to see evidence, guys. I'm sorry. I want to see evidence. I want more than just a guy's word, right? I want more. However, take a step back. This is now being given airtime. This is now prime time conversation topic. And this is, these people are keeping straight faces. So let's take a step back. Whether you think it's BS or not, that information is being given credibility, and that information is being put out into the public, right? That's the reality. So,
but one of our whistleblowers admitted to, last year, when he said that.
Do you know, Dr. Greer, why would we do this? Like, who would want to do that?
They would do it to try to create diversions and make people think that there's a threat from outer space when there isn't one, and also to confuse and cover up illegally run covert programs and say the aliens are doing it. It's a classic diversion and deception operation.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there, right? There is a lot to unpack. And I totally get it, right? I totally get it. There's been an amount of information that's being drip fed to people right now, and it does feel like this is the what is it, Project Blue Book or something, like Project Blue Book, Blue Beam or something, I don't know. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Project Blue Beam is when, the world, the secret societies fake some sort of alien invasion, and then the whole of humanity have to come together in one voice, Independence Day style, go fight the aliens, which may be true. That may be coming, that may be coming. However, let's just take a step back and think, what if that's not the case? What if it's real? What if there's really aliens coming, right? Are you going to take that risk? Are you going to take, who's going to take that risk? And then you've got to look at the third option, right? What if aliens are coming and they want to sow the seed of doubt before they get here? So they want conspiracy theorists, they want people claiming, oh, look at this. This is not real. This is not a real event. So I'll be honest with you guys. I haven't got the faintest idea of what's going on here other than what we're being told. But what I can pretty much guarantee is something huge is going to happen with this. And what I've always said, and what I will always say until until I get data points that are pointing in a different direction, if we get some sort of disclosure this year, 2026, before 2027, right? I've been saying, and I'm going to stick by this. I've been saying that if we get that disclosure this year, then next year we're going to be told that aliens are on their way, and that the date that they will get here, the aliens, is April 2020, Friday the 13th of April 2029. They will come with Apophis. The timings just fit together perfectly. They do, guys. They absolutely fit together perfectly, those timings. So I've got another bit of so that video I just shared with you guys. I've got another little segment from that. I've got another little segment from that video. I'll share that with you guys now.
Werner von Braun, who invented the.
Sorry, let me. So this is just a little bit later on in that. This is just a little bit later on in that interview.
General Mike Flynn retweeted the interview with Tim Burchett. Here's the quote. I think we have the tweet. I believe Tim Burchett, he is not a man to mince words or to short sell the normal political BS, but be aware of a false flag alien operation by rogue elements inside the U.S. government.
Sorry, let me get that back on so we can look at it. Right, okay. So can you imagine how big this is going to be, guys? Like, this is going to literally dwarf everything. Everything. Can you imagine the Karen factor? And what I mean by Karen factor, I mean, you know, those people who, so you know, you've got, like, for example, in the crazy times of 2020 and 2021, when we all had to do hands, face, and space, social distancing, you know, all of a sudden, you had the woman on the tills in Tesco's, all of a sudden, without no training, no prelude, she's just all of a sudden the world's foremost expert on airborne contagions. Straight away, she knows everything. And then she's in a position of power now. So can you imagine the Karen factor if this information gets put out there? And look, guys, I'm not going to say that this is not real. I'm not going to say that it won't be a real alien invasion. And I'm not going to give you guys my third option that all this is pre-war information sent by some alien invasion. I'm just keeping an open mind and, you know, and a very robust BS filter. I've still not seen any information, any evidence that's conclusive to me. None. Zero.
Government. Dr. Greer, can you explain what he's talking about?
Yes, and this is exactly what Werner von Braun, who invented the rocket for Adolf Hitler, warned us on his deathbed. And he said that there would be an attempt to hoax a threat from outer space and kind of throw the world into sort of a totalitarian global dystopia. And that's been a plan that's been around since the mid-1950s.
Okay, I'm just going to say this again. Guys. Whether you believe this guy, whatever you believe, this information is now being put into the public arena. And there will be a lot of people who believe this. There will be a lot of people who don't believe this. My BS filter is screaming at the moment, guys. It really is. It's screaming. It's absolutely screaming. I'm like, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? You know, where is the technology, right? Where is the technology? Because look, what we're talking about now with some of these UFOs, UAPs that, you know, allegedly defy gravity and, you know, operate on unknown physics. Why is that not being put into the energy system? Why is that not being put into the energy market? I do not believe for 1 second, not for 1 second, do I believe that there is a scientist there somewhere, right, who's looking at these, you know, these UAPs like, what's his name, Bob Lazar or whatever, and they have access to all this information, and they're saying, right, okay, we can get these, because if anti-gravity is free energy, it is. Anti-gravity is free energy, guys. Okay, right, so anti-gravity, right? So if the black end is anti-gravity and it goes up a little bit, right, that's free energy. Because what happens is, imagine that as anti-gravity, okay? So you've got your anti-gravidic whatever field here, and it defies gravity, all right? So that goes up a little bit, right? Okay? Then you put another one on there, and then that goes up a bit. And then all of a sudden, you've got rotary motion. And if you've got rotary motion free, you've got free energy. And the amount of money somebody could make with that, it would put Elon Musk to shame overnight. Overnight, it would put Elon Musk to shame. So I don't believe for 1 second that there's not a researcher there who's thought, wait, what? Oh, and then phoned his mate up or spoke to his friend and said, listen, mate, if you do this with, I don't know, a magnet and this material and this, it will do that and then we'll make a ton of money and, sort me out afterwards. I don't believe that's not happened. So my BS filter is screaming on this, guys. It really is.
So General Flynn is 100% correct. And these sort of weird and scary things that you hear about associated with UFOs and UAPs is part of that psychological warfare operation.
Okay, so the big thing in this video, guys, it's been the alien-human hybrid breeding program. Now, let me just throw something else into the mix, okay? I'm literally just gonna throw this into the mix, guys, okay? I'm not really going to touch on it now. I am going to touch on it. I'm totally lying. I'm just going to touch on it. I'm not really going to go into this in any amount of depths. The advances in artificial intelligence, I think we're already at the singularity. We're living through it right now, guys. We're living through the singularity. And things are changing so fast. So fast. Now, artificial intelligence is not controlled by governments. And look, we could argue that like David Lammy needs a little bit of artificial intelligence himself. However, what I'm getting at is like, this artificial intelligence is being produced and held by corporations now. These corporations need to, they need to turn a profit. And we are either in it now or we will be very soon in a situation where everything, whether you like it or not, whether the government has any control over it or not, everything about you, where you do your shopping, how you walk, what shoes you wear, your blood pressure, your heartbeat, where your heartbeat is. And that's all going to be held on some server somewhere for a corporate company to go and have a peep at. AI, artificial intelligence, is an alien intelligence, right? Because we don't understand. I don't understand it. I watched a video, an AI video. It was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, it was Conan the Barbarian, Maximus Dominius, whatever his name is, Gladiator, Brad Pitt as Achilles. Who else was there? Mel Gibson. Who else was there? Aragorn. And I was looking at that and I was like, I want to watch, first of all, I was like, I want to watch that movie. I cannot tell that is not them. 100%, I couldn't tell. So this just feeds into that. If this is some sort of fake alien invasion and they've actually got biological abominations, right? Because that's what they said. That's what he just said. Some sort of alien human breeding program. And all these aliens come running after you and, you see them on the streets. I mean, Keir Starmer's probably going to want to put them in a hotel or something and, pay for them. And then you see on the TV these alien craft landing and you've actually seen one. Imagine that, guys. Imagine you're coming home from, I don't know. You're coming home from Cineworld in Ashford. So you're leaving Ashford. You've just been to Cineworld to watch a movie, whatever, I don't know. June 3. You just watched June 3 in Cineworld, and you come out and you see a load of these like alienoid things running around doing rah. And then you hear it on the news, you see it on the TV, and then you see these images on TV that's AI. You don't know what's real anymore. You've seen that with your own eyes. So as far as you're concerned, that shit's real. You only need to do this a very little bit. And I think if this was a faked alien invasion, you would be surprised the small amount of people that would need to be in on this. Because if people think it's real, you don't need to convince them, right? You only need to convince a few people and then that will spread. Now, everybody's got a mobile phone. Everybody's on the internet. I can take a picture, video, place it on the internet within seconds. You know, somebody in Australia is saying that's fake, that's real. But what you can't do is those real accounts, because you can do an amount of things, right, where, you know, you can do an amount of things where it's AI generated sprites. The problem is if you do that at scale, who are these people? Where are their friends? Where are their family? Can you check their background? Oh, yeah, look, this is Chloe Jones, and she's giving an interview for Sky News. Right, there is no record of anyone called Chloe Jones. None who lives in that town. So where is that? However, if you do, you know, if I'm giving an interview, you know, you can check back. You can look through my videos. You can look online, you know. Oh, yeah, we know Sean. Look, you know. And you've got, you know, so I'm a real person, so you know I'm not AI. So then you have to ask, am I lying? And if enough people, you reach that critical mass, it just happens, right? So I don't know. But I do know something big is coming. That is absolutely undeniable, guys. The missing scientists found or dead scientists that are, you know, jet propulsion lab, nuclear physicists, aerospace physicists, material science. These people are going missing at a rapid rate of knots, going missing or finding themselves unalive. And then you've got the big one. Guys. I'll share that with you guys again in a minute. But it's pretty dark. It is. It's pretty dark. Human alien hybrid breeding programs. That sort of stuff, guys, keeps me awake at night. And it's going to come to one of those things, right, where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you believe, right? It doesn't matter what you believe. Whether you believe it or not, if one's standing there right in front of you going, "Rah!" No, that's a fake alien invasion. It's going, "Craw, craw." You're like, no, that's not real. That's made by NASA JPL in a human alien hybrid breeding program, and it's a fake invasion. Yeah, that thing doesn't look very fake to me, right? It's chewing people. So I will share that video again, guys. It's only a 2-minute video. I'll share that again shortly. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, right, let me jump up and get some chat. Michelle, Sean's Googly. I'm not joking. His news is always right. What's happened? It's something on the, what's going on the chat, guys? Space Cow is saying, I agree, Slim. God, yes. Right, let me jump up. What's going on here on this chat? Rod Panhard is saying, nobody can tell what's real anymore. And that is the plan, as it helps out the Epstein class. And that's not with those kids. That's AI fakery. I do think all this started with... the Epstein files. I think what the Epstein files did was introduced everyone to adrenochrome, right? Introduced everyone to adrenochrome. And the next thing we're going to be told is, right, aliens are real. Okay, aliens are real. Okay, got it, right. Aliens are on their way. Oh my God, aliens are on their way. Right. Aliens want to drink your adrenochrome. Oh my God. And that puts all these things together. Clarendon is saying you have to think for yourselves. You do, guys. Let your eyes tell you the truth. Don't be deceived by what people are telling you. Right, guys, listen, I'm just going to jump to the bottom because I only wanted this to be a short live stream, but I've gone on far too long. Sean needs to cut the corn tips of hybrid breeding proof. What does that mean? Sean needs the corn tips of hybrid breeding proof. Right, listen, guys, what I'm going to do is I'll share with you guys this video again. So this is literally what the US Senator Tim Blanchard, Tim Blanchard or Bruchard or something. So, and I've been talking about this for a while. I've been giving these steps, but every day more information comes out. So let me share this video with you guys. Jenny is saying fake. Jenny the man is saying fake. It may be fake. It may be fake. Let me share this video with you guys. I won't stop it. I'll then give commentary at the end, and then we'll close this video down, this live stream down. What?
The things that I've seen would keep you up at night. You texted me right after the show that night, Dr. Greer.
Right.
Do you know what he's talking about, like, specifically?
Yeah, I do. So for a number of decades, we have used the retrieved non-human bodies, biologicals are called, and created creatures that are part human, part not human, and very advanced biomedical research. And I've known about this since the 90s, and these have been used in covert operations, like the CIA document we have that admits they were using this sort of tech as well as the man.
Sorry, I know I said I wasn't going to stop it, but he's known about this since the 90s? That's like 30 years old. That's like 30 years ago. So now I'm questioning what's really happening in Antarctica. Is that where this program is? Because, like, if you're going to do that sort of thing, you're going to do it in Antarctica, right?
Man-made UFOs to stage and hoax alien abductions and all manner of nonsense. The problem is it sounds like a science fiction movie, but it's been part of a larger multi-decade psychological warfare operation, partly run out of a division of the CIA and some out of other special operations and attached to the aerospace industry giants. But yes, we know details of that. We know where these weird experiments are going on. And I've handed that off to certain people in the national security structure and to certain members of Congress, as well as the names of whistleblowers who have been involved.
Okay, let me hold on. So,
good question coming. Good question.
Okay, so there's a breeding program. Matt Gaetz said that. Tim Burchett didn't deny that. You're confirming that. Are there female volunteers that are taking part in this program? Like, how does that work?
No, there are no. The human subjects are ones who have been captured in distressed areas and used for human experimentation. It's similar to what one of our whistleblowers admitted to, last year.
Okay.
When he said that.
Do you know, Dr. Greer, why would we do this? Like, who would want to do that?
They would do it to try to create diversions and make people think that there's a threat from outer space when there isn't one, and also to confuse and cover up illegally run covert programs and say the aliens are doing it. It's a classic diversion.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. It's so wild. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know whether this guy's real or not. My BS filter is screaming, right? It is. It's absolutely screaming out. It's saying, no, not a chance, Raven. Okay, so I've got to take a step back now. Okay, so when I'm doing my analysis, when I'm talking about wars or, civil war in the United Kingdom, I have to start with something that I know is true. I don't know if this guy's telling the truth or not. I don't. So I don't. You don't. I don't. Nobody does. Only he knows. And then you've got to ask the question is, were the people who were talking to him, were they telling the truth? I don't know. So they're my unknowns, right? I don't know. I literally don't know. So you have to take a step back now. Okay. So, right. That is an unknown. Is he telling the truth or not? Yes, no, don't know. Right. Take a step back. Right. Go another layer back. Is he saying it? Yes. Okay, right. So that's the truth thing that I can give you guys. He's really saying that, and he's really portraying that information now into the public, and that information is being given real prime time. It's being given real. It's on the prime time now. So, is there an alien invasion coming? I don't know if it's going to be an invasion, but I'm pretty convinced from the information that I've got that something huge is coming. Something huge. Now, whether that is the biggest hoax humans have ever seen, whether that's a real alien invasion, and they all want to come and suck our adrenochrome and get adrenochromed up, I don't know. Or whether my third option, you see, I've got a third option. Right? And my third option is both options are real, right? So, yes, the alien invasion is real and it's coming. However, like on that movie, Three Body Problem, it's a book actually. In that book, Three Body Problem, the aliens managed to communicate with people from Earth, and they're setting the seeds to divide people before they even get here. So I honestly don't know, guys. It's just wild. It is really wild and insane. Right, listen, guys, I am going to close this down. Band again is saying, Sean, Dolly the sheep is coming for you. Well, here's the thing, right? So Dolly the sheep was cloned in. I think Dolly the sheep was cloned in 1986. So you can imagine where that technology's evolved, right? Clarendon is saying Bill Cooper was the original guy to put it all together. Really behold, the pale horse still holds up. Pale horse is mandatory reading. I'm going to have to read that. Johnny the Man is saying aliens wouldn't dare invade while we were on horses fighting with bloody swords, but now they come when we have nukes and shit. Yeah. Well, it could be okay. So, just play devil's advocate here. It could be something. Okay, let's just pretend aliens are real, right? There has been many cataclysms. Okay, if you want to go down. Okay, right. This is gonna be a big one, right? Right. So, if you want to go with, if you guys watch Graham Hancock's videos, he did a series on Netflix called Ancient Apocalypse. And what he says in Ancient Apocalypse is that there was a technologically advanced civilization long before our iteration of humanity, right? And Graham Hancock is saying that they were wiped out by some cataclysm. The stories of Atlantis, the Great Deluge, all this sort of stuff, right? However, what if the aliens live on some sort of asteroid and they just move around? They just move around, and every 10,000 years, they come back and harvest humans. So it's just the timing. It's just the timing. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to leave this on as my final comment. Okay, so Will Raz is saying they don't care what weapons you have. They've got to wait till the harvest is ripe. This is where I'm going, guys. This is kind of terrifying, because that movie. Go on. Jupiter Ascending. That's literally the premise on Jupiter Ascending. There's this race of aliens, and they go around seeding planets and then coming back 10,000 years or whatever when that planet is ripe for harvesting. And then they move, and then they leave some people on that planet, and then they go to another planet. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. I am absolutely going to close this live stream down. I will be back on. I'll be back on at what time will I be back? I'll be back on at 8. I'll be back on at 8, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll be talking about the conflict in the Middle East. I will be talking about the civil conflicts that are unfolding in the United Kingdom. And I will also be talking about Russia. Yes, Russia's happening again, guys. I told you it would. I told you Russia would be in the news. Well, I said Ukraine, but Russia's the same thing. I told you Russia-Ukraine conflict will be back in the news very soon. And it turns out, as per John Healy today did a speech. He said, yes, Russia, we know you're attacking our undersea cables and pipelines. We know that's happening. So we will be talking about that, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I'm going to close this down now. I'm going to go and have my tea, and then I'll be back at 8. If you've not done so already, guys, please hit those buttons down below. Like, comment, subscribe, bell notification, all those things that help me out, guys. And I will be back at 8. Don't be late.